Today, I'm going to give you my top picks for the new release omnibus, graphic novels, trade paperbacks, collected editions, fiction, nonfiction, all the cool stuff coming out this week. New Comic Book Day, July 27th, 2022. That's coming up next. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the SmallTown Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we get into talking about all the new release books this week, I want to ask you, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do that now. Hit that subscription button. Turn on that notification bell so that you get notified when I put out new content. Smash that like button and leave a comment below and let me know what you think about the video. All right, so let's get into the list this week. Now, I am doing this a little bit different. What I've realized about especially the manga category, there were like 40 releases this week. And just as far as trying to put a video together, I don't have the time for that. So I've kind of broken this down into what are my top picks. It's not a top 5 or a top 10 or anything like that. It's just the books that I think are key that are coming out this week. Now, we normally start with Dark Horse, but I didn't have anything for Dark Horse this week. So let's jump over into our first publishing company, and that's DC. So first up from DC, we've got Batman Rebirth, the Deluxe Edition, Book 6, Hardcover Edition. This deluxe hardcover collects the conclusion of Tom King's acclaimed Batman run, including The Fall and The Fallen and City of Bane story arcs. This collects Batman issues number 70 through 85, Batman Annual number 4, and Batman Secret Files number 2. This book has a retail price of $34.99. Flash Rebirth Volume 16, Wally West Returns trade paperback. This volume collects The Flash number 763 through 771 and The Flash 2021 Annual number 1. This book has a retail price of $16.99. Suicide Squad 2021 Volume 2 Ambushed trade paperback. This collects Suicide Squad issues number 7 through 15. This book has a retail price of $19.99. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, trade paperback. This collects the entire miniseries Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, issues 1 through 8. This book has a retail price of $19.99. And wrapping up our books from DC this week, we've got Zatanna, The Jewel of Gravesend, trade paperback. From the bewitching mind behind the Casket Girls, Alyssa Arden, and with enchanting artwork by popular Instagram artist Jacqueline De Leon, comes the story of a girl stuck in the middle of a magician rivalry and forced to choose between love, family, and magic without hurting anyone or worse. This book has a retail price of $16.99. So that wraps up DC. Don't have anything from Dynamite this week, so let's jump into IDW. First up from IDW, we've got Sleeping Beauties Volume 2, the hardcover edition. This collects Sleeping Beauties issues 6 through 10, and this book has a retail price of $19.99. Transformers Shattered Glass trade paperback. This collects the complete 5-issue series, and this book has a retail price of $17.99. That takes care of IDW. Now let's jump into Image. First up from Image, we've got Bolero, the trade paperback. It's Christmas in snowy Los Angeles, and Devin Dagger Dagny is heartbroken. Her 12-year-old relationship with her ex, Natasha, has just come to a tragic end. She is an aimless college dropout, floundering at her job, and now her best friend is getting married to the wrong guy. But what if she could start all over again? A mysterious stranger, something called an anti-door, and a mother key. Only 53 chances. This is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind meets Lock and Key as writer Wyatt Kennedy and artist Luana Vecchio take you on an emotional journey across the multiverse. That's Bolero, the trade paperback, and that has a retail price of $17.99. Next up is Ghost Cage trade paperback. This collects Ghost Cage issues 1 through 3, and this book has a retail price of $16.99. Wrapping up Image this week, we've got Gunslinger Spawn Volume 1 trade paperback. This collects Gunslinger Spawn issues 1 through 6, and this book has a retail price of $9.99. All right, that's it for Image this week. We've got several books from Marvel. Let's jump into those right now. Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1 hardcover book market Alex Ross cover new printing. This is from 2022. This collects Amazing Spider-Man 1963 issues 1 through 38. Amazing Spider-Man Annual from 1964 numbers 1 and 2. Strange Tales Annual number 2 and material from Amazing Fantasy number 15 from 1962. And Fantastic Four Annual number 1. This book has a retail price of $125. Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, Complete Collection, Volume 5 trade paperback. This collects Avengers 2012 issues number 35 through 44 and New Avengers from 2013 issues 24 through 33. This book has a retail price of $44.99. Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, trade paperback. This collects Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, issues 1 through 3, and Elektra, issue number 100 from 2022. This book has a retail price of $15.99. Hulk by Donny Cates, Volume 1, Smastronaut, trade paperback. This collects Hulk 2021, issues 1 through 6, and material from Free Comic Book Day 2021 in the Avengers/Hulk. This book has a retail price of $17.99. Iron Man from 2020, Volume 3, Books of Korvac 3, Cosmic Iron Man trade paperback. This collects Iron Man from 2020, issues number 12 through 19. This book has a retail price of $29.99. Thor, Volume 4, God of Hammers trade paperback. And of course, this is the Thor run from Donny Cates. This collects Thor from 2020, issues 19 through 24. This book has a retail price of $24.99. Last book up from Marvel this week, we've got X-Men First Class Mutants 101, the graphic novel. This collects X-Men First Class from 2006, issues 1 through 8. And X-Men First Class Special. This book has a retail price of $13.99. All right, that takes care of Marvel. Let's jump into our indie publishers. And we're going to start this week off with Sex Publishing. And we've got Bean, Volume 1, Riddles and Shrooms, hardcover edition. While on an errand for shrooms, Bean is kidnapped by a troll and ends up finding a very special sword that needs to be healed. So begins a journey that will be filled with danger, adventure, and realization that he's the only one that controls his destiny. That's Bean, Riddles and Shrooms, hardcover edition with a retail price of $19.99. From Literary Publishing, we've got Black Jack Demon, the trade paperback. A boy crosses the American Old West in search of the stranger that brutally murdered his father after destroying their family mine. Bent on revenge, the young man soon realizes that the killer he is chasing is something much, much darker. The Black Jack Demon is a genre-breaking Western revenge tale focused on young Silas's journey through the changing American landscape, following the trail of carnage left behind by the mysterious figure. That's Black Jack Demon, the trade paperback, retail price $15.99. From AWA Upshot, we've got Fourth Man, the trade paperback. 3 dead bodies lay in a rural morgue, all murdered in the span of 3 weeks. It's up to 2 detectives from opposite sides of the track to determine who put them there, if the murders are linked, and what, if anything, they have to do with a pair of dueling car dealerships. A dark comedy mystery thriller by Jeff McComsey and Mike Diodato Jr. that is inspired by an outlandish true crime story. The Fourth Man story will keep you guessing till the last page. This book has a retail price of $9.99. From Xenoscope Entertainment, we've got Grimm Fairy Tales presents Red Agent, Island of Dr. Moreau, the trade paperback. This collects Red Agent, Island of Dr. Moreau, issues 1 through 5, and has a retail price of $19.99. From Rebellion, we've got Judge Dredd, Complete Case Files, Volume 39, trade paperback. In the nightmare metropolis of the future, he is the judge, jury, and executioner. He is Judge Dredd. The best-selling Complete Case File series continues with Judge Dredd taking on a terrorist organization, hunting down PJ Maybe, who has taken on a new disguise, and Pat Mills returns with Blood of Santanus 2 Dark Matters. Drawn by a roster of great artists working on Judge Dredd in the 21st century, Chris Weston, Cam Kennedy, Henry Flint, and Ian Gibson. The Judge Dredd case file series has sold over 500,000 copies. So that's Judge Dredd, Complete Case Files, Volume 39, trade paperback. This book has a retail price of $24.99. From Boom Studios, we've got Maw trade paperback. And if you haven't read this one, this is a great story. This collects the complete run of Maw issues 1 through 5 and has a retail price of $19.99. From Behemoth, we have Nobody's Child, Volume 1 trade paperback. In an unspecified time in the future, it is discovered that within a special breed of albino rhinoceros, there is a genetic code that holds the properties to regenerate man that can cure all diseases, even those very serious. As a result, in a short period of time, this albino rhino becomes nearly extinct, leaving just one, Sabium. Enter Bakari, a boy dealing with his own devastation who now decides to dedicate his life to protecting this rhino. That's Nobody's Child, Volume 1 trade paperback from Behemoth. This book has a retail price of $16.99. From Mythos Comics, we've got Vamp, the trade paperback. The biggest hush-hush in Vegas is that Sanctus Hotel and Casino is run by vampires. Julian Smith is their personal cleaner, and as head of guest relations, he works day and night to make sure the bloodiest secrets stay buried with the unluckier guests while keeping the rest of the clientele healthy, happy, and coming back for more. But his world turns upside down when an old flame comes back in town and paints the town red. That's Vamp, the trade paperback. This book has a retail price of $19.99. All right, and that takes care of our indie publishers this week. I do recommend Maw if you haven't read that. That's a definite pickup. I read all the single issues, and it's a really, really good story. You should check that one out. All right, with our indies out of the way, let's jump into Manga this week. And as I stated earlier in the video, I mean, it was crazy. It was like 30, 40 books for manga, in the manga category this week. So I just went through, read the synopsises, and picked out the ones I found the most interesting, and those are the ones that I'm going to present to you here today. So here we go. First up, from Seven Seas Entertainment, we've got Box of Light, Volume 1, the graphic novel, The Spooky Tale of a Haunted Convenience Store. A quiet convenience store hovers on the boundary between life and death. Its faint glow in the darkness draws people toward it, pushing them closer to the final purchase they'll ever make. And is that a monster in the magazine aisle? Prepare for spooky creatures, cryptic employees, and an air of delightful dread in this supernatural mystery. That's Box of Light, Volume 1 graphic novel. Retail price on this book is $13.99. Also from Seven Seas Entertainment, we've got Dungeon People, Volume 1, the graphic novel. Clay was trained by her father to be an expert member of the Thieves Guild. Since her father disappeared 3 years ago, she's been using her skill to search for him in a dungeon filled with goblins, a minotaur, and all manner of other dangerous creatures. When Clay reaches deeper than anyone ever has before, she meets the caretaker of the dungeon. To her surprise, Clay is invited to join the staff, and thus begins Clay's new job to learn the inner workings and behind-the-scenes secrets of the dungeon from the inside. That's Dungeon People, Volume 1, graphic novel. This book has a retail price of $13.99. My Lovely Dubby Wife is a Stone Cold Killer, Volume 3, graphic novel. This is also from Seven Seas Entertainment. Meet Setsuna. She's cute, sexy, and deadly. When she's not out murdering people as a professional assassin, she's nesting at home, trying to adjust to a domestic life with her new husband. She skewers ingredients for dinner, draws a knife on unwanted solicitors, and sleeps with one eye open just in case enemies sneak in. Her love-struck husband doesn't ask her a lot of questions about her day job, so this arrangement can work if love conquers all. Right? This romantic comedy is dangerously sexy. That's My Lovey-Dovey Wife is a Stone Cold Killer, Volume 3 graphic novel. This book has a retail price of $12.99. Last book up in our manga category this week is Record of Ragnarok, Volume 3 graphic novel. This comes to us from Viz Media. With humanity already down by one loss, the second round of the Ragnarok tournament is an unbelievable contest between Zeus, the father of all Greek gods, and Adam, the very first human being. Up against the mighty Zeus, Adam may not look like much, but he has a few tricks hidden behind his fig leaf. Can he possibly take down the boss of Mount Olympus? As the second round ends, the roaring crowd is already looking forward to the next matchup. Zeus's brother Poseidon versus one of the great Japanese swordsmen ever, Kojiro Sasaki. That's Record of Ragnarok, Volume 3 graphic novel. This book has a retail price of $12.99. And that wraps up the manga category this week. I hope you like that better as far as I don't know how much interest people who watch this channel have in the actual manga books. I did pick one up and it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. And all 3-4 of these that I just listed, I am purchasing and going to give a read, and I'll let you know how that goes. All right, now with manga done, let's jump into our fiction, nonfiction category. Didn't have anything from fiction this week, but I did have a book from nonfiction that I'm excited about. That book is They Shouldn't Have Killed His Dog, Complete Uncensored History of John Wick, hardcover edition. This is brought to us by St. Martin's Press. There have been iconic moments in the action movie genre over the years, but nothing has come close to matching the kinetic, electric gun fu of the John Wick films. Best-selling authors Mark A. Altman and Edward Gross take you behind the scenes of a franchise that includes 3 films with 2 more sequels and a television series on the way, while exploring the action classics that led to John Wick, as well as the films it inspired, like Atomic Blonde. They bring you right into the middle of the action of the John Wick films, detailing how the seemingly impossible was achieved through exclusive interviews with the cast, writers, directors, producers, stuntmen, fight choreographers, cinematographers, studio executives, editors, critics, and more. That is They Shouldn't Have Killed His Dog, Complete Uncensored History of John Wick, the hardcover edition. This book has a retail price of $28.99. So yeah, they just announced, I think the new John Wick movie will be coming out, or they just dropped the new trailer. I'm not sure which. I know it was one of the two. And I love John Wick. I'm definitely going to pick this up. I'm definitely going to pick this up and give it a read. So you may want to check it out as well. All right, let's jump into our last book this week. And this comes from our how-to category. And that is Big Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide Volume 52. This comes from Gemstone Publishing. This oversized limited edition version of the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide sells out faster and faster each year, and with good reason. The Big Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide features just the pricing from the standard editions of the book, with none of the articles, ads, or other features. It's proven very popular with those who use it. This version of the Bible of serious comic book collectors, dealers, and historians is square bound and has bigger print. The black hood cover on this book is by Rick Burchett. So that's the Big Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide of Volume 52. This book has a retail price of $54.95. All right, guys, those are my top picks this week for new release omnibus, trade paperbacks, graphic novels, fiction, nonfiction, manga, all the great stuff that comes out every new comic book day. Hope this video helps you in some way if you enjoy reading your books in the trade paperback graphic novel style. I know I've kind of gotten into it of late, and that's why I started doing the videos. I thought maybe there were people out there that were looking for this kind of information. So yeah, hope it helps you out in some way. Guys, hope you have the greatest new comic book day ever. I know I'm going to, as we always end our videos. Until next time.